I'm back. Thanks to Satisfied Games. Check them out at the link in the description below while we go inside and check out, not that Marvel game, Marvel Ultimate Alliance for the Switch. We're back here again in E3 2019 this year. A lot of games to explore, but of course, you know why I'm here. This is a Switch-heavy channel that does comic book stuff on the side, and the Switch happens to have a big-ass comic book game coming, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order. I got to play it, and so this is what I think of it. So pretty much if you played any of the other Ultimate Alliance games, either 1 and 2, or you played X-Men Legends back in the day, you'll feel right at home with this. It's 4-player, co-op, brawling game with all the Marvel characters. It's drop in, drop out local multiplayer, either on the screen or 4 people in the same room on separate switches. And of course, you can play it online multiplayer, unlike some other Nintendo games that you can't play multiplayer with your friends. So the build I got to play today, it was only like 13 characters, but it's some returning characters, Iron Man, Spider-Man, Wolverine, Thor, and a bunch of the Guardians of the Galaxy are in there. Of course, they're the new hotness. They got to be added to the game. The Nintendo rep basically explained the game is a retelling of the Infinity Gauntlet saga. So it's not what you saw in the movies and it's not what you read in the comics, but it's the game's take on it. Kind of like how Ultimate Alliance 2 was the game's take on Civil War. So my primary team was Wolverine, Spider-Man, Iron Man, and Rocket and Groot, and all of them played wildly differently from each other, even though Y and X are your attacks. For everybody, they all have their own unique special moves. If you hold down the trigger, you can add like enhancements to the moves that just makes everything get chaotic. Kind of reminded me of Marvel vs. Capcom and just the lunacy that happens on screen with all the powers happening at the same time. Somebody actually joins later in my game, and adding a person to the game is actually really easy. All you have to do is press start on the controller and they just appear. They join your team right away, and that's really good to have if you want to add people in as you're playing it later on down the road. In terms of the gameplay itself, you know, in addition to the crazy powers, it is a standard brawler in a sense, not too dissimilar from like your Double Dragons, your Turtles in Time, things like that. But again, once all the powers happen, it gets insane and hard to focus on. Also, the camera is different from the way it was back in Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2. It's not strictly overhead, it keeps changing dynamically depending on where you are. One section was a side scroller, one section was overhead, one section got really up close, and I lost pretty much my entire team because the camera zoomed in so far. But in addition to your regular moves and your superpower moves, you have these other moves, I think they're called synergy moves, where you and another person on your team can basically team up and give each other a boost for an even crazier superpowered ability that just looks like a mess. I mean, it looked awesome, but a lot happened, and it was really hard to figure out what was going on. I think at one point I used Iron Man's synergy move with Groot, and I was pointing in a completely opposite direction from where the bad guys are. The brief demo we played, we were basically trying to get an Infinity Stone back from Kingpin, and there were cameos from Jessica Jones, cameos from Iron Fist, and we were trying to defeat the Hand on our way to find where the Kingpin was. So overall, the game definitely is more of a throwback. I'm very shocked at how similar it felt to the original games in the series. I hope they can fix the camera issues. Well, they probably can't because the game is out in a month. Less than that, I think. But I hope it feels tighter in the final game. Today was the Direct, and they announced that we're getting DLC, Marvel Knights, the X-Men, and the Fantastic Four. I'm pumped for that. So this definitely seems like a game that's going to have life to it, or at least Nintendo is going to support it. And hopefully they can add like just enhancements to the camera and just make things a little bit clearer as to what you're supposed to be doing, especially when a lot is happening on screen. So yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Good fun. Might be a little bit too much with more than one person playing, but I think they should be able to make it easier for you to understand what's going on. Hopefully, we'll see. As always, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Be sure to stay here. All week we'll have more videos. I'm sure Bob will have something. Who knows? I'm gonna try and get my hands on Square Enix Avengers game because I have opinions on that. Thanks for watching.